Iranian prisoners back on American soil. USA Today reports that 5 Americans imprisoned in Iran are back on U.S. soil after they were released as part of a prisoner exchange the Biden administration negotiated with Tehran. A plane carrying the 5 prisoners and 2 of their family members landed around 5:30 a.m. Eastern Time at a Virginia military facility just outside Washington, D.C. Only 3 of the 5 prisoners who were freed have been identified: Siamak Namazi, Imad Sargi, and Morad Tabaz. They are 3 dual Iranian citizens. A senior Biden administration official said there were 2 Americans that wished to keep their identities private. After 2,898 days of captivity, Namazi said he was desperate to feel the warm sun on his face, lay back in the grass, and look up at the blue sky. Quote, "For almost 8 years, I've been dreaming of this day," Namazi said in a statement after he and 4 other Americans were freed yesterday. "I want to see foliage instead of walls and wardens." Fox News now reports that Hunter Biden does not want to appear in federal court for his arraignment on gun charges. Hunter Biden is battling federal prosecutors trying to have his initial court appearance on federal firearms charges held via video conference, according to an order filed by a federal judge yesterday. U.S. Magistrate Christopher Burke issued the order asking Hunter's lawyers to explain no later than today why they want his arraignment held via video conference, a request that prosecutors have opposed. This, according to Judge Burke. The judge gave prosecutors until Wednesday to provide a reason why the arraignment should not happen or should happen in person. Hunter could face up to 25 years in prison for federal firearms charges announced last week. Political news this morning: Donald Trump has decided to skip the next GOP debate. This from USA Today. Donald Trump's campaign confirmed that he will skip next week's Republican presidential debate and plans instead to visit the Detroit area to speak with striking auto workers. Trump had long hinted that he would not attend the September 27th debate at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum in Simi Valley, California, citing his large lead in a series of Republican polls. The Trump campaign confirmed a schedule showing that he will instead fly to Michigan a week from Wednesday, tomorrow. Details are still being worked out, but Trump is expected to give a speech to members of various unions, including auto workers. Michigan will be a key battleground in next year's general election. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has abandoned the Senate dress code. This from the Associated Press. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said yesterday that staff for the chamber's sergeant-at-arms, the Senate's official clothing police, will no longer enforce a dress code on the Senate floor. The change comes after Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman had been unapologetically wearing shorts as he goes about his duties, voting from doorways so he doesn't get in trouble for his more casual attire. There's been an informal dress code that was enforced, Schumer said in a statement. Senators are able to choose what they wear on the Senate floor. "I will continue to wear a suit," said the Senate leader. Schumer did not mention Fetterman in his statement about the dress code, which will only apply to senators and not staff. Fox News reports that Senator Susan Collins of Maine joked that she would wear a bikini on the floor of the Senate following Senator Schumer's directive. Collins made the comments while slamming the dress code directive, arguing it debases the institution, which still requires others entering the chamber to comply with the dress code, including coats and ties for men, business attire for women. Collins then said, "Obviously, I'm not going to wear a bikini, but the fact is, as I understand it, I could." Students are walking out over a failure of a transgender bathroom policy in a school district in Pennsylvania. This from Fox News. Hundreds of students from Pennsylvania's Perkiomen Valley School District walked out of class. This happened last Friday after the school board failed to enact a policy that required transgender students to use the restroom corresponding with their biological sex. Girls were upset. Kids were upset. We wanted to protect them. They were upset. They did not want men in their bathroom. This according to student John Ott, who organized the walkout, speaking with Fox News. His mother, Stephanie, accused the district of only protecting transgender students and not looking at the whole picture. The safety of females is so important. These students stood out and walked out, that they should be commended. They have courage and they exercise their First Amendment rights. This is about protecting our children and our privacy of boys and girls. It's simple biology. Victoria Rudolph, another Perkiomen Valley student, told Fox News that allowing biological males to enter women's restrooms also makes her uncomfortable, and changes need to be made to protect girls. New York City is considering the removal of George Washington statues. This from Fox News. As New York City cripples under monumental budget cuts because of the migrant crisis straining public resources, the City Council is planning to consider a series of measures that would, among other things, remove statues of major historic figures like George Washington and create a reparations task force. The items included in the New York City's council agenda for Tuesday, September 19th, 2023, today. The council's Cultural Affairs Committee will hold a public hearing on a measure to remove works of art on city property that, quote, depict a person who owned enslaved persons or directly benefited economically from slavery or who participated in systemic crimes against indigenous peoples or other crimes against humanity, unquote. That criteria would include figures like America's first president, George Washington, Dutch governor and New York settler Peter Stuyvesant, as well as Christopher Columbus, all of whom have statues throughout the city. In sports news, Aaron Rodgers suffered a complete tear of his Achilles tendon. This from USA Today. Just 1 week ago, quarterback Aaron Rodgers was preparing for his debut with the New York Jets. Now he's bracing for a potentially long recovery after taking his fourth snap from center, then suffering a complete Achilles tear. Before even an MRI, I knew what happened, Rodgers said last week on the Pat McAfee show. I knew I tore my Achilles. I'd popped my calf a few times. It was not that sensation. I knew that it was not a good situation. It's not so certain how long it's going to take Rodgers to recover from a complete Achilles tear. I definitely have odds stacked against me based on age, but I like it. Stack all the odds up against me and see what happens. The Achilles tendon is a strong fibrous cord that connects the muscle of the back of your calf to your heel bone. The tendon directs movement from the leg and the foot, including pointing and rising up to your tiptoes, as well as flexing the toes up. And finally this morning, out of Vegas, USA Today is reporting that MSG Sphere, which is a big hotel, it's amazing. It's the world's largest sphere. It has giant LED screens inside and out. They have now announced their next plan to make Las Vegas somewhat different for them and their guests. They're going to greet people with robots. Sphere Entertainment announced the world to Aura, the world's most advanced humanoid robot that will permanently reside at the arena when it launches this month. 5 Aura robots are located at the venue's grand atrium greeting guests as they enter and will be available to answer questions, according to MSG Ventures CEO David Dibble. The spokesbots will maintain lifelike facial expressions and mobility on full display. With the atrium's large space, enough to fit the Statue of Liberty or the Saturn V rocket, Dibble said MSG Entertainment Chairman James Dolan wanted to add something that, quote, helped convey the role of technology, space, etc. in human evolution and in human pursuit. Quote, facial movements and recognition. I find it stunning. Some people may find it creepy, but everybody will find it fascinating, Dibble told USA Today. She sees you. As you move around, she will follow you. She will track you. She will interact with you. And so that's something you can look forward to next time you head to Sphere in Las Vegas. And that's today's front page for September 19th. It's Tuesday, 2023.